Good morning, everyone. I hope that the audio is working in this video. Sorry about yesterday's. But today what we're going to do is take a break from reading, and I'm going to have you do a little bit more of a creative assignment on chapter 3. So in this video, I am going to explain the assignment and give you an example. And then, of course, if you have any questions, you can always ask me. All right, so here we are on my website, and the assignment for Tuesday is to create a blackout poem on the passage from chapter 3 that I linked. There will be an example right here, and again, it says that you can be as creative as you want and add images and drawings, or you can simply just create the blackout poem. So for those of you who don't know, a blackout poem is basically when you take a passage of either a book, an article, anything you're reading, and what you want to do is literally black out all of I don't know, you kind of want to create your own poem using only the most important words. So you want to kind of like scribble out all of the words except the ones that you believe are the most important. And then with the words that are left that are not scribbled out or blacked out, they sort of create a poem. All right, so again, I will show you an example, but first of all, the passage that I'm going to have you do from chapter 3 is linked right here. So you'll go ahead and click there and it will open this Google Doc. So this passage that begins with "Never shall I forget that night," this is again from page 20 in chapter 3. Right here. And this is right after Eliezer and his father have kind of survived their first night at Birkenau, which is a part of Auschwitz. So again, this is Eliezer kind of reflecting on how much of an impact this one night has had on his entire life, his first night at the concentration camp. Okay, so again, with this passage, you are going to end up kind of getting rid of most of the words and just leaving behind the most important words. And for your blackout poem, you can either do it in Google Docs, in Microsoft Word. You can print this out and write on it by hand if you want to, whichever way works best for you and whatever technology you have. So if you are going to do it in Google Docs, remember, it's important that you know what you're going to have to do is go to File and make a copy, because again, this is my copy. If one of you edits it, then everybody's going to see those edits. So that's why I have this locked. Okay, so if you want to do this in Google Docs, you'll go to File, make a copy, and then you will have your own copy saved in your own Google Drive. And then as for how to get rid of the words, you're going to go to this tool right here, which is the highlighter. So it should be right next to the text color, and you're going to pick black. All right, so again, it's important that you pick black because you're not supposed to be able to read any words except for the ones you want to be read. So let's say, for example, you want to get rid of this first sentence. You would pick the black highlighter like this, and then now you can't read those first 3 words at all. Okay, so again, you are going to complete your own blackout poem on this passage. Oops, I'm just going to undo this really quick. And again, if you make a mistake, just go back to the highlighter and click none. And if you're doing this by hand, if you're printing it, or maybe you just want to copy out the passage and then do it by hand, just remember you probably won't be able to erase very well, so be careful. Okay, now like I said, I will go ahead and show you my example. So again, just to sort of remind you, you want to pick what you think are sort of the most important words in the passage. All right, so I'm going to show you my example and the passage side by side so that you can kind of see what I decided were the most important words to me. All right, so I'll just read the passage really quick just to remind you all what it says. So the passage says, "Never shall I forget that night, the first night in camp, which has turned my life into one long night, 7 times cursed and 7 times sealed. Never shall I forget that smoke. Never shall I forget the little faces of the children, whose bodies I saw turned into wreaths of smoke beneath a silent blue sky. Never shall I forget those flames which consumed my faith forever. Never shall I forget that nocturnal silence which deprived me for all eternity of the desire to live. Never shall I forget those moments which murdered my God and my soul and turned my dreams to dust. Never shall I forget these things, even if I am condemned to live as long as God himself. Never." All right, so that's the passage, and I chose to focus on just a few keywords. So one of the things that stood out to me in this passage was the silence. So I think what Eliezer is referring to is kind of how maybe like nobody seems to be, I don't know, sort of reacting properly to all of these horrors he is witnessing at Auschwitz, and how he and his family had never heard of Auschwitz before they arrived there. So he's kind of saying like the world was silent about what was going on there. So my blackout poem that I created, you'll see I got rid of most of the words. I only kept about 10 words. So my blackout poem reads like this. My life cursed, silent faith forever, silence, murder, dreams, never. So you'll see I almost created a rhyme between forever and never. So that's totally optional. You do not have to have a rhyme in your poem. And you'll see that it's not really in complete sentences. It's just sort of words and ideas, and that's totally fine. All right, so you are going to go ahead and create your own blackout poem. As I said on my website, you can even add images or drawings to your blackout poem if you want, and be as creative as you'd like. But again, you are going to create your own blackout poem based on what is most important in this passage to you. Okay, so again, this is going to be due tomorrow, and just let me know if you have any questions. And there are many, many examples of blackout poems online. So if you need more inspiration, you can just go ahead and search blackout poem and get some more ideas. But really, there's no wrong way to do this. You're just crossing out the words that you don't want to use and kind of leaving behind the most important ideas to you. All right, so I will talk to you tomorrow, and I hope that you can get a little bit creative with this assignment. All right, bye.